We're going to take a few moments to focus on something I mentioned recently, that for a period of 4 weeks, that's all, of what will probably be about a 2-year program, I wanted to see what kind of changes could occur in an individual who is diagnosed and treated for advanced Alzheimer's and had been treated at a major Alzheimer's center at a major university in Manhattan, but was not getting good results. As a result, their daughter, named Vivian, the mother's also Vivian, reached out and said, "Is there anything that could help my mother?" And I said, "Well, it depends upon what she's willing to do and how far you're willing to go in order to get the best therapies possible." She said, "There's no limitation. I'm going to do everything I can for my mother." I said, "Fine. Now let's go over and see where we're at with Vivian." I have not spoken with Vivian's mother, nor with Vivian, on the progress that has been made in only 4 weeks. Keep in mind that this is going to take time. So any change at all in the first 4 weeks is important. Nice to have you with us, Vivian Sr. and Vivian Jr.
Thank you, Gary.
Let's begin with you, Vivian Jr. How long have you been helping your mom with her Alzheimer's?
I've been helping her for the past 2 years.
When your mother was being treated at a major teaching university by one of America's foremost Alzheimer's experts, what was the benefit of any or not of that therapy?
Well, there are only a certain number of drugs out there that they recommend for Alzheimer's, and my mother has been on the 3 main ones. She is currently taking a small dose of the Namenda. That's the only one that she is on. The others had negative adverse reactions.
Did you see any principal improvement in your mother in the years that she was using standard treatment for her Alzheimer's?
No. In fact, we saw no improvement. We saw decline, rapid decline.
What was the attitude of the physician towards your mother as therapy?
Very cold. Not helpful. And, I mean, my mother is 75, and, she's just one of a million. And that this is the way it goes.
Bring us up to date. Tell us what that you can see that is a measurable, significant change.
We started your protocol 4 weeks ago, and it was amazing to me, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm being incredibly truthful. After the 3rd day on the protocol, a behavior my mother was exhibiting called looping was...
Explain looping.
Looping is when short-term memory is one of the first things to go with Alzheimer's. And it's when you can't remember what you said 2 minutes ago, or where you put something, and there you find the object, or you remember it, and then 2 minutes later you've lost the object again, or you can't remember what you said. And a particular example, on day 3 of our protocol, my mother and I were together 24/7 for the first 2 weeks of the protocol. And in the morning, she would put on her watch, and then it would take about an hour before she would finally realize that her watch was on her wrist and not in the suitcase or in the dresser. And she would constantly search for her watch over and over again, to the point where, I thought, this is hopeless. But by day 3, when we woke up, she didn't search for her watch. And I thought, this is odd. She didn't search for her watch from that point forward, or an object like that. By day 7, her short-term memory was again improved. It wasn't... She did have lapses, of course, but it wasn't as repetitive, and it wasn't as frequent. And by the end of 2 weeks, actually just after we came back from the 2 weeks at your ranch, now she was not in my care. My father was with her, and I was taking care of her on a daily basis, but living out. he's keeping a journal, and he said, do you realize your mother went from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon with only 2 short-term lapses in her memory? I said, no, you're kidding. He said, no. And he said, I'm writing it down, and every day it seems to be the time span between her memory is increasing. Other things are improving as well. She's juicing, doing the supplements, exercising vigorously, and getting sleep. When we started the protocol, she was sleeping a lot. During the day, she would take 3 naps, at least an hour, hour and a half long. As of today, she can go without a nap or maybe a 45-minute nap after her morning exercise. That's unusual. With Alzheimer's patients, they sleep a lot. Her memory is better. She now remembers when she lost something and she finds it. She doesn't leave her handbag. I can't believe the changes I'm seeing, the positive changes in her memory. Yes, she still has a way to go, but she was stage 5 Alzheimer's. That's moderate plus. And now she's exhibiting behaviors of someone who is, maybe early stages of Alzheimer's.
It'll take about 2 years. Mm-hmm. I just wanted people to know that there are alternative approaches. And what else has changed? Exercise. Start with what she was able to do and now what she's able to do. Well,
she easily fatigued when we began the protocol. On the first day, we went for a walk, a quarter mile, and she was exhausted. We went in the morning, it was nice and cool, but after a quarter mile, she said, I can't do this is so hard. And I was like, Mom, you did great. How many laps did you do today? And she looked at it and she said, I was 10. I was like, no, Mom, you did 1 lap on a quarter mile track, but that's very good. The next day, we doubled it, and then we began tripling it. And by the end of 2 weeks, Mother and I were doing 7 miles. Now, we started at a quarter mile 13 days earlier. By day 14, we actually did 7 miles, and it took us 3.5 hours because my mom has to constantly use the bathroom, so we'd have bathroom breaks. It's a consequence of Alzheimer's, and it's also a result of heavy juicing. But that's amazing. And now she's on a protocol where she exercises, walks a minimum of 4 miles a day, and works out in the gym. We joined our local YMCA, and they're working with us. And we're also swimming. And all these are very, very positive. And she's actually lost 7 pounds and has more energy and more balance and coordination. 2 weeks ago in the swimming pool, one of the exercises was to march along the black line in the pool. Just waist-high water. And Mother had difficulty doing that. But after maybe two or three times doing it in the pool, she can not only march forward on the black line, she can go backwards and sideways. And she couldn't do that. Her balance and coordination is vastly improved. But the thing is, we found one day she didn't walk, and she didn't swim, and she didn't lift weights. And on that day, it was a Sunday, and my father said the only difference that I can think of is the fact that she didn't exercise today. And so we're going to disagree with what you said about 6 days a week. I think it has to be 7 days a week of exercise of some sort, just to keep the blood going to the brain. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion, and my father and mother agree, because you know what? She feels so much better with the exercise.
What does your father say are the major improvements he's observed?
He's observed her memory's coming back. Now, she's also under the dementia umbrella, and she is exhibiting signs of, a quick recall, and he's surprised. He also said she's when she walks, he watches her. He can't walk physically as much as she does because of his health, but when his legs. But when he sees her walking around the track, he said, "I've never seen anything like it."
Vivian Sr., nice to have you with us today.
Thank you, Gary. It's nice to be here. Literally.
What have you seen that's different? What can you give us of your own personal observation?
Well, I'm listening to what my daughter says and my father and my husband says, and I am able to do all of the things that she just told you, and I enjoy doing it, and it's nothing that I am saying, oh, I don't want to do that. I just can't wait to get out there. And on the track, which I do, and I do the 2 miles today. I enjoy everything I'm doing. The pool, the this, the that. The food is so delicious the shakes are so delicious. That's one thing. And they are so good that you know that they're helping you the minute you swallow one. So it's food, it's exercise, it's being happy and healthy and getting out there and doing it. Really, I am so happy. And the kids are saying, "This is great, Mom. You're doing this, you're doing that." And I don't know where I stepped off and fell into the water, but I'm out of the water now and I'm doing my best. And I hope that I can stay that way. And thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All the
Gary.
best to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Vivian, daughter and mother. That's after 4 weeks. Now we'll see what happens after the next 6 months. More and more Americans are waking up and finding out that today they get the news that a parent or a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis and will require rather constant attention. And that is very stressful. Keep in mind, as a group, caregivers die faster than any other group, substantially faster. I just interviewed, and I hope you listened to it. If not, you can go to the archives, a mother and daughter, a woman in her late 40s, the mother in her early 70s, and until 2 years ago, everything seemed fine. And then it wasn't. And then it became progressive. And I asked the daughter, "When did you know something was wrong?" And she said, "My mother is meticulous in how she goes about her day." And I started realizing that my mom's was forgetting stuff. She'd leave her purse. She never did that before. And then we'd be having a conversation, and she would tell me what she was going to prepare my dad for dinner 3 times within 5 minutes. She's never done that. And it just got progressively worse until it was diagnosed as Alzheimer's and stage 5 Alzheimer's. And that's when I sat down with them and I spent time and I gave them a protocol. And they've been adhering very strict to the protocol. And the results have been absolutely terrific. And again, it's only now 5 weeks. It'll take about, a year and a half. My hope is within a year and a half, she should be completely normal. And I intend to have them on this radio to give us progress reports. Now, mind you, she was under treatment for 2 years at Columbia University's Alzheimer's group and received no improvement and couldn't handle the medications. So now she's off the meds. She's taking a tiny amount of one particular med to stabilize balance. But outside of that, all of this improvements to her lifestyle. During this 2-year period that the daughter's been taking her mother into the hospital or the clinic and working with her, she has gained 50 pounds. Her hair is falling out. Her nails are getting brittle. She's missing her period. A lot of problems have occurred. And she's frequently depressed or anxious because she says, "I don't have a life. I don't have any life. I spent the last 20 years raising my 2 children, and now the very month that they're out of home on their own, I now have my mom, and I'm having to work with my mom as if my mom is about 6 years old. She said, I was unprepared for this. And she said, Gary, if there's any message you could get out to men and women in my age group, let them know that they ought to be really emphasizing a change and a detox in their parents, because they too, in all likelihood, are going to get that call. And they, too, then will have the arguments with the siblings. Who's going to take care of mom or dad? Well, I don't have time. I've got kids. Well, I don't have, my career is full-time. I can't jeopardize. But someone is going to have to, and whoever that someone is, they have to understand it's going to totally change their life. And frequently people won't be prepared for that. And then they'll just start making all the wrong decisions. And she said, I'm now making healthy decisions and I'm healthy choices. And in the 6 weeks we've been on this, I've lost about 15 pounds. I'm feeling much better, no longer depressed.